west side. You rockin' brown and orange with me, baby, let's ride. Represent the land, let them know. Tell them, here we go, brownies, here we go. Yeah, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Here We Go Brownie Show. Allie, this will be Allie's last week not joining us. She is on the road down to her new home, by the way. That's Pensacola, Florida. You're a military guy, Ray. You know all about the Pensacola, Florida area there for the Navy and the military.
I absolutely do. Beautiful area. Beautiful area.
It's a beautiful area, a little more humid than North South Carolina where she's been living. But she will be joining us next week. We don't know from what location or where because you know how packing and moving is. I've been through that just 6 months ago, but she'll be joining us. But Ray, I feel like I've seen more of you in the last month than I have the last of my entire life. Well, that's probably a pretty accurate statement. I've seen more of you in the last month than I have my entire life with you. Ray, we've been doing a lot of stuff lately, man. It's the off season for the Browns, but my goodness, has it been busy? It has been
busy. But you know, though, it's been fun busy. So it's not like
right.
we're actually working. If that makes any sense.
We are working though. Well, we are kind of working. You know, you're out there touring with your car and your memorabilia and talking about the Browns and what you're wanting to do with the museum in the future. You know, I'm doing the Here We Go Brownies thing out there at the golf outings. We're going to get into that fun time. That was down in Xenia with our great friends, Todd and Linda and Stephanie and all those folks that takes all that hard work to put that on. Top Dog was down there. Felix Wright was down there. A lot of great sponsors, obviously, were down there. The folks in Buffalo Wild Wings were gracious enough to feed us. For lunch. But it was a great, and guess what, Ray? Just like last time, we were worried about the rain. But I tell you what, Uncle Vinny, let's say a prayer for Uncle Vinny. I think he was looking over that golf outing because as soon as after all those carts rolled in, the rain started pouring. So it was like, how crazy was that it was kind of an omen that the rain came? Or, maybe it was a little tear from heaven saying, hey, I miss you guys, and I wish I was there. But it was really cool to see that take place and, bigger, brighter things in the future. I know Todd's got some great ideas for next year.
Hey, real quick, Dustin, speaking of car shows, this weekend, we got the 4th of July weekend coming upon us. So Saturday, I'll be in Greenville, Pennsylvania, one of the biggest car shows in the area. They shut down the whole city. So cars are lined up all over the place. It'll be a great show. It starts at 10 and it runs till 6. That's Saturday. And Sunday, if you're in the area, we're going to be at Greenwood Chevrolet in Hubbard. That time will be 10 to 4, I believe. So any one of those days, come on out, say hi, and have some fun with us.
More importantly, Ray, guess where you're going to be? You're going to be in Steeler country with your brown and orange Corvette, which I know you love that when you go into Western Pennsylvania, PA.
Hey, D, real quick. Whenever I'm in Steeler company, because I got the 2 TV sets, right? One of the TV sets is always playing a Brown Steeler game, and it just so wait. It just so happens I play the season opener of 1989, and for those of you who don't remember. That was the 51-0 shellacking that we put on that Steelers behind. I'm keeping the family. I'm keeping the family.
At Pittsburgh, too, no less.
At Pittsburgh. So, that was a good one.
That's saying a lot. But, Ray, hey, let's give a quick shout out, Ray. As you know, this September, football is going to be here before I know it, 60-some days till the Dallas Cowboys come to town. But Ray, our great friends over at True Fan Travel have joined us. Browns fans, are you ready to take your fandom on the road? Join True Fan Travel, an official fan experience partner of the Cleveland Browns, and travel with other Browns fans like never before. Everything is taken care of: the flights, the hotel, the tailgate, the game tickets, transportation, food, drinks, everything. That's important to Browns fans. All inclusive. Each trip will also include an exclusive meet and greet with former Browns players, and we know who that is now, Josh Cribbs, guys. What a great weekend to hang out with Josh Cribbs. So book that trip now at truefantravel.com today and reserve the ultimate Browns travel package. And by the way, including in that, Ray, they've added a private charter with Browns fans and Josh Cribbs to head to Vegas. So if you say you've already bought your tickets, say you already got your hotel room, hey, maybe their schedule doesn't work for you and it's just not the right timing when everything's down there. But guess what? As we all know, it's a little hard to fly out of Cleveland nonstop. That's taken care of now because you're on a charter with a bunch of Browns fans going nonstop. What else can you ask for? It's like VIP service at the airport, and you're going with Josh. I mean, who doesn't want to be on that plane? You know how fun that's gonna be a party plane. It's gonna be a party plane.
It's almost like you got your own private flying Uber.
That's true. And with your favorite things in the world, Browns fans, right? Like at the end of the day, it's like it's all people that love what you love. So anyway, big shout out. Real quick, guys, just as we were coming on and getting ready for show prep tonight, 2 breaking news. I know this is a Browns podcast, but as Ray told me, the only show in town right now is the Cleveland Guardians. He told me that before the show started, and that was kind of funny. But Steve Kwan and Ramirez have both been nominated to go to the All-Star game. And that's a big deal for both those guys. First, it's Kwan's first All-Star game, and for him to be starting is even a bigger deal. So both will be starters in the All-Star game down in Arlington, Texas. So congratulations to these Cleveland Guardians. They've been playing great baseball for having the 26 out of 30-some payroll in the Major League Baseball. They are literally playing Moneyball. This team is a Moneyball team. When you look at what they're getting for their ROI, they are definitely get it. So some of these guys, they need to get paid. They need to get paid because these guys have been playing great baseball. Ray, let's get into it. We were in Xenia, Ohio, had a great time down there at that Xenia golf outing. But Ray, I got to tell you, I'm not good at golf. You're not good at golf. We go to this for the camaraderie. we go to this for the fun, the experience, to be able to hang out with alumni and our friends, right? At the end of the day, that's really what we're there for.
Right, exactly.
And so I got to tell you guys, and this was one of the funniest things that's happened to me in quite a while. Ray got the privilege to golf with Hanford Dixon for the day. So, first and foremost, the fact that you get to golf with someone that Hanford's really good. I mean, Hanford's a good golfer. And so to be able to go play Hanford and, hang out with him. I mean, if you think about it, you get to spend 3 or 4 hours with one of the guys you grew up watching. So I think, that's kind of cool, right? You get to do that. And before we take off, Ray wanders over there, and Ray is like me. He's not a golfer, so he didn't bring golf clubs. We'll get into who brought me the golf clubs right after this.
I don't own golf clubs.
Right. So he doesn't own golf clubs.
I just want to make that clear. I do not own a golf club.
Correct. So what does Ray do? He doesn't bring his golf clubs because he doesn't own golf clubs, right? So you just specified that. So Ray gets to getting on the cart with Hanford, and Hanford goes, "Where's your clubs?" And Ray goes, "Oh, I need clubs." And he goes, "Well, yeah, dog, you need clubs." And he goes, "Oh, well, I thought I would just play with your clubs." And Hanford looked with him with that look like he gives a wide receiver that he's going to. He goes, "Dog, you are not touching my damn clubs. You go in there and get your ass some clubs right now before we leave this golf cart." And Ray, I got to tell you, that was one of the only times I've seen you quiet, put your head down, and walk straight in to get the golf clubs. Of course, they do have rentals there. Ray was able to get golf clubs, but I got to tell you, that was a great moment, for many moments. But that's kind of one of the fun moments. Like, I was like, Top Dog just said, "No, that's not what's going to happen today."
First of all, hold on. First of all, we need Top Dog on the show because we need to talk about his game. And that's all I'm gonna say. I ain't saying nothing else, but we need to talk about his game with the new club. But go ahead and continue on with the show.
Well, yeah. So what I'd like to just pivot, because it's a perfect opportunity to talk about what's happening next Wednesday's show. But our good friends at 5 Iron Golf here in Cleveland, right down here on Euclid Avenue in downtown Cleveland, we've partnered with them to do some exciting things. And that includes this Wednesday, guys. If you're in the Cleveland area next Wednesday, That's right. We're doing the Here We Go Brownie Show live. We're going to go live from 5 Iron Golf in downtown Cleveland. Now, here's the great part, guys. Share this with your friends. Share the show. Because anybody that comes for those 2 hours that we're there, an hour before the show, an hour during the show, and then all the time throughout the show, 2 hours, you can golf for free. Compliments of 5 Iron Golf Cleveland and the Here We Go Brownie Show. We want to showcase our new sponsor. They want to give us a big thank you for it. So it's 2 hours of free golf simulator right down there in Cleveland. They have great drinks. We'll have some Here We Go Brownie themed drinks, great food. But 7 to 9, downtown Cleveland, 5 Iron Golf. The invite has already been put out there. If you can make it, we would love to have you down there. But I got to tell you, it's fun to work on your game. Ray and I definitely need to work on our flipping game. So it'll give us an opportunity to swing the clubs. Larry has graciously decided to join us for that night as our co-host. And I got to tell you, Larry is kind of like Hanford. He plays a serious game, and he's a pretty good golfer. So it's going to be excited to partner with Larry and Lorello Vineyards on that venue next Wednesday night. And with that said, we are going to invite our friend that's going to be co-hosting the event next week, our great friends over at Lorello Vineyards. Larry, you look like you're ready to. Where's the bus going? Larry,
go Brownie.
Larry's already down at the Muni lot.
Right, we're ready to go. Oh, right here. Here you go. There you go. Muni rules.
I love it. So
Muni
Larry,
lot rules.
So Larry, let's talk about this. We're going to be at this golf outing next Wednesday, 7 to 9 p.m. For nobody that's ever known about your golf game, I know you take it pretty serious. You do a lot of golfing with your business partners. What's your handicap, and what are you most excited about doing at the simulator next Wednesday?
Let's see. To work on the irons. 7-iron pitching wedge. I'm about a 12 handicap. Keep on trying to get down into the single digits, but it's a matter of putting. Putting's the hardest thing to try and get yourself straightened out. By the way, I sound okay on here because I got the air conditioner running.
No, you're great. You sound great. We can hear you just fine.
All right.
Larry, we were just talking about prior to coming on the show here that breaking news just happened that Ramirez and Steve Kwan were both named as not only members of the All-Star game this year, but starters. So
wow.
Kwan and Ramirez will both be making the All-Star game this year as starters. And I thought, how fitting that you wore the Indians jacket or the Indians jersey tonight.
Yes, sir. Yeah, they're down a little bit right now, but yeah, that's exciting for Cleveland. I'll tell you what. Kwan has been lighting it up all year. Really.
So Larry, I got to share the story with you because you're a golfer. So I got to ask you, and I know Ray's going to hate this because we're going to have a redo right now of the golf clubs. If you were at a golf outing, okay. Now did you hear any of the rest previous to the show before you came on?
No.
Okay, perfect. So if you were at a golf outing and you were golfing with Ray, okay.
Yeah.
And you had your clubs and you were doing a scramble, a foursome. So he's your other two of the four, and you're riding on the golf cart together, right? He's your pair, right?
Right.
And he came up, and he's not a golfer, and he doesn't have golf clubs. Would you let him use your golf clubs?
Larry don't have to answer. I already know Larry would say yes. I already know.
Use
Larry,
what?
He doesn't have a set of golf clubs. Would you let him use your golf clubs for the whole round of 18?
Well, hell yeah, sure. Sure.
Well,
actually, hold on a second. I would bring my second set.
Oh.
I'd bring the spare set. That way Ray would have his own, because golf clubs don't like it when you don't have a set of clubs. Everybody's got to have their own set.
Okay, so there's the caveat. So the funny story is, and where we were talking about this when it comes to golf, is he was paired up with Hanford this weekend. He got lucky enough to be paired up with Hanford. So he showed up. He didn't have his golf clubs because he doesn't golf. And he looks at Hanford and he goes, "Oh, I was just going to use your golf clubs." And Hanford looked at him and goes, "The hell you say you're going to use my golf clubs?"
Yeah. Well, if Ray walked up to me and told me that the day while we're playing, I think the word
5 minutes before the golf carts roll out.
That would be kind of what I would say too. Ray would have to be a little bit advance notice. But, you know, if Ray is not a big golfer, then the most important thing in a scramble is that he could putt. And he'd be the guy that would be setting out the first putt and setting up the flares. So I'd let him use my putter for sure.
Okay, well, there you go. Well, hey, we know Larry's a giving guy, so that I am not shocked by that answer, actually. So
here, Ray, look. Believe land, baby. Believe land.
Exactly.
Did you see
all right,
that?
all right, so Larry, we talked about this. You know, this is what we call the dead season for Brown stuff. But a little bit of news came out. You know, obviously the Browns are only going to, I think, only have 5 or 6 training camps this year. They're going to do a lot of stuff down in Greenbrier with the, you know, out of pocket over in Virginia. I think it's Virginia. Is that Greenbrier, Virginia? I think is where they're at. But
Oh, yeah.
I thought it was West Virginia, not West
West
Virginia.
Virginia. Yeah, that's West Virginia.
yeah. So they're going to be over there
Put
with
out
their.
dates on that yet?
What's that?
Did they put out dates on when they're going to be down in West Virginia?
It's like mid-July to whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
So my thought is, I believe this is the second year they're doing this and doing less to the general public, Larry. Do you think this is more, because we know the culture has changed in Cleveland, do you think this is more of Kevin trying to get the guys to buy into the culture and really make this a tight-knit group? What do you make of that?
Yeah. Remember the Titans, baby. Remember the Titans. Yeah, it's you look at all the Jets, a lot of them, they all take it and they go to camps. They get away from everybody. And, yeah, I think it's a good culture move for sure. And I've been down to that place. It's a pretty nice place, too. They got the golf courses, everything. I mean, it's a nice little setup for them, for sure.
So I don't know if you saw this or not, but the HBO Hard Knocks.
I heard about this.
Yeah, so Hard Knocks, instead of they're changing it up, like every good TV program, you don't want something to get stale. So now instead of picking a team, they're doing a division. So this year they chose the AFC North. So not only will you get a sneak peek into the Browns camp, you'll get a sneak peek into the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Steelers. Full disclosure, I only watch HBO and only buy HBO to watch Hard Knocks. And so obviously I'll tune into this because it is obviously going to be the AFC North. And that's when you do a podcast, you focus on the AFC North, especially if it's about the Browns. So I'm just curious. I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a kind of a good look into our opponents, but I'm just curious. I'll let you go first, Ray, and then I'll go to Larry. But what do you take of this, and what do you think is it a good, bad, or indifferent thing for distractions from the team? I guess is probably the bigger question I'm asking.
And you're referring to the Hard Knocks thing?
Yeah.
Well, I can remember the one we did with Coach 0-16. I can't think of his name right now, but it was the Owen.
Jackson.
It was, in fact, it was Baker's rookie year, and I liked that they did the whole team, and so. But thinking of the bigger picture, it would be nice to check in on the other camps as well too. So
Right.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Larry?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I went last week. I went fishing with a bunch of Steeler friends, and when we talked about it, they were shocked that Tomlin was gonna, he's going for it because they said it had to be a Rooney thing that wants to do the marketing of it because he said the Steelers keep everything very close to their vest, and for them to even be showing anything surprised the heck out of all those guys. So. Yeah, I'm with Ray. If we could see anything that the Steelers are doing in the background, it sure would be. I mean, you know how much I like black and gold. I mean, it's tough to watch, but we'll suffer through it, I guess.
Well, that makes me think. Ray, remember when we were at the gold jacket event for Joe Thomas? Remember that? And we just happened to see. Tomlin walk out. Remember, he literally walked out of the door at the same time we did, which was just weird happenstance. But Tomlin walked out, and I'll tell you this, Larry and Ray, you heard it. He goes, "Hey, I got to go. I got to get back training camp." And you said, "Hey, I hate your team, but we basically said we respect you as a coach because we do.
Right.
He's been a great coach." And he
Yeah.
literally said, "Now remember, this is in August, Larry." He said, "I appreciate that." He goes, "You guys are going to have a hell of a defense this year." So I thought that was crazy. That here's a guy that is that well tuned in to know what our defense is going to look like, who ended up being the number one defense in the league, that he wanted to get back and get his guys ready because he knew how much of a challenge our defense was. But it's interesting, like when you can get a head coach to say that, like in an off-cuff moment, like you're just, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, well, Tomlin's always shoots straight. So I mean, he said it, he meant it. That's the cool thing about it.
So Ray, here's a question. I'll give this to both you, Ray and Larry as well. The season's right around the corner. We're hoping for Nick Chubb to come back, week 4, week 6. We don't know where that may land. Obviously, I always look at, who would be the comeback player next year. I think the natural guy would be Nick Chubb, right? Nick Chubb would be the natural guy in that. But my question is, Ray's laughing at you. My question is, who's going to be the most improved player from last year? So I'll start with you, Ray. When you look at who played last year, who could be a guy that could break out this year that could be the most improved? I have my guy who I think will be the most improved player from last year, but I'll finish with me at the end.
I mean, I think the door is wide open, and I think the most improved player will probably be the comeback player of the year as well too, and it's Deshaun. I mean, everybody's waiting to see if Deshaun is going to be hurt or is he going to play a full season. And availability is the best ability, so he has to be available. So if he balls out, there's no doubt in my mind that he's comeback player and most improved because he has so much to prove.
That's true. He's a 2-for-1, most improved, and could be a comeback player from an injury. So, Larry, you?
Yeah, I'm going to say the same thing. Although you got to remember, last year I believe we were 5-1 in all of his starts. So the team was good when he was there, but the fact that he missed most of the year after that, at the end of the day, it's like that if he comes back and balls through the rest of the year, like Ray said, then most improved, you could throw anything you want on top of him for a title, but it will definitely make a big. I mean, that's really everybody knows in Cleveland that everything's going to hinge on how he plays this year. The rest of the team's solid. It's just a matter of seeing how the quarterbacks play.
Yeah, and for me, I mean, obviously that's the obvious answer. But for me, what I do want to see, and I think could be the most improved player, because I think this player could also be a breakout player. But I think Tillman, the wide receiver, could be that breakout player.
Yeah. Well, those two go hand in hand. You know what I mean? If Deshaun Watson's throwing the ball and Tillman's catching, wow, that would be, you'd give it to both of them. That'd be phenomenal.
Yes, and Tillman's one of those guys that has the hands and the talent. So at the end of the day, my thought is he could be the most improved player and, could be that breakout player because at the end of the day,
you're laughing at my helmet, Ray.
Yes, he is.
Wait, I'm focused on the camera and I just happen to look down. Yes,
there it is.
I'm sorry, Larry. I was laughing at you.
That's okay. That's okay. It's all good. That's what it's there for.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. So, but
hey, Dustin, you told me last week I blew up the whole podcast, or a week before last I blew up the whole podcast. You told me to tame it down a little bit. This is about as tame as you're going to get out of me. That's it.
I'll take it,
Larry. All right, Larry. Well, here, I know something that'll get you fired up. I'll change gears on you because I know what I know how to light a fire under you. I know how to get. I'll just start with this. I think it's a foregone conclusion that the Browns are going to Brook Park.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. There we go. Close Burke Lakefront Airport. Let's go. Let's go. Muni lot rules. Listen, hey, listen. You think, and I got some reasons for saying this. First of all, you got to understand something. From Cleveland, for me, the long shot, the underdog, is the most valuable part of being a Browns fan. Oh, a nice picture. Being a Browns fan is all about the underdog and the long shot. Okay, they've been trying to close that airport forever. And this mayor, if he's successful in doing it and developing that lakefront, it would be a game changer for the city, and it would be huge for the Cleveland Browns. And if we play our cards right, we still keep the Muni lot. Now, I'm a little biased. I want the Muni lot, but close Burke Lakefront.
Fuck the airport. I want the lot.
Okay.
Don't swear. Sorry, I got somebody in my bus right now. He's having a good time, and I'm doing everything I can to keep him from talking.
So the show is no longer attained. All right, perfect. That's what we wanted. So yeah, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the chicken and the egg. What's happening here, right? Right now, I think something has to be. Well, we know this. I think a decision has to be made during the season and be told to the public during the season, because if you're going to build a new stadium, you got to start turning dirt next year. That's just the reality of it, because their lease is only through 2026 or 2027 down at the lakefront. So if you're doing that and you're going to Brook Park, you've got to make a decision to start turning dirt soon. The other thing is, it is a little bit of a chicken and egg. I think we talked about this, Larry, a week ago. The city got the grant and the money to build the $30 million walkway that everybody said separates downtown Cleveland from the lakefront. So that part's done. That looks like that will happen no matter if there's a new stadium down there or not. And that's always been the biggest argument, Larry. We know this. You can't get from point A to point B from downtown in a flow of traffic. Well, you solved that problem. And the mayor said, look, I now have that. We're announcing we've won this grant for $37 million. So that is going to happen no matter what. If they redevelopment the lakefront with condos, property, that's going to happen. So do you think this is a little bit of cat and mouse game that's going on here? Because it certainly seems that way, because I don't think that was by chance that basically the mayor threw that out and said, oh, by the way, look what we got, $30 million ready to go. The walkway, the breezeway, all we need is a redeveloped stadium and everything else to go in with it now. So what do you take of that? Because I think that was timing on the mayor's part too.
Yeah, there's really, I've always, when you have one of these things that's out in the public like this, it's almost like you have to think about what they're not saying, forget about what they're saying, okay? Because you're exactly right. It's all posture and position. When you're talking about $1 billion or $2 billion of anything, everyone's going to be, trying to figure out a way to posture themselves for it. Think about when the mayor came out, when they showed that development just north of the stadium where they had the parks and everything else right on the water. You realize where that is? That is in the landing pattern of Burke Lakefront Airport. Literally, the planes go right over top of that. Does that make sense to put in a whatever millions of dollars worth of parking area and fun and everything else in the middle of a landing pattern? So to me, that's one of the postures. There's no way in heck they're going to do that. Okay. And as far as this $30 million for the connection, sure. If you're going to get money to spend $30 million to be able to connect this downtown city with the lakefront, then you probably ought to develop the lakefront somehow. And
no matter what.
But and to me, if you envision starting at 9th Street, heading down towards going east, you got the Muni lot sitting there. You could literally utilize, and I've seen this in many big cities, you could utilize the air right over top of Route 2 and the Muni lot to do development over that too. So you don't need to just develop on the other side of the river, the highway. You could develop right over the highway. You go to New York City, you go to Boston, any big city, they put a roof right over top of the highways and they build buildings right over top of it. So once you do that, you've got all this, you've got literally free money because it's just air. along with that, so if you take all that along with Burke Lakefront, I did a layout of Burke Lakefront. It's like 50 something acres of land that is there, which doesn't sound like a lot, but that's about all I came up with when I did it. But then you add the highway and you add the community lot, you're talking about a couple hundred acres of land that you can develop, and that changes the whole city. I mean, literally. And you take that, you do all of what I just said, and do that in Brook Park. That's crazy. That's crazy. Nothing against Brook Park, but downtown Cleveland is where it's at.
Yeah. So, Larry, I'll let you talk about all things and everything. What's that one say?
That same thing. Close Burke Lakefront. Go ahead. I'm all about my signs.
No, you're good. He said he was going to have things ready to go, and I didn't even prime the pump, Ray. This is so classic that he had these ready to go. But my question is, let's just talk about this. Larry, you're a great sponsor of the podcast, Lorello Vineyards. Tell us what's going on this summer at Lorello Vineyards. Talk Here We Go Brownies Wine. Talk about the ice. Go ahead. The floor is yours. Talk about cool. What the winery is up to and what you're doing this summer and all great things.
Well, first of all, right after, wait a second. Let me look a little more sophisticated when I do that one. Hold on.
There's the okay.
We just went great. There we go.
We went from fan.
Fan to businessman. How's that? Right.
We went from fan to business owner. I love it.
So today was the first day that they've been working for the last 2 months on Route 534, which is the access to get to our winery and all the other wineries. And they 2 months ago they started on a project ODOT to replace the intersection with a roundabout, and that's basically closed off our wineries and a number of other wineries. And we've been working through that for the last 2 months. And today they opened it. So as of today, yeah, you want to come to Lorello Vineyards from here to the rest of the summer, and you don't have to worry about detours anymore. You can just get off on a highway and just come right to us, along with all the other wineries in the area. As far as Here We Go Brownies wine, we just ran out. We're getting ready to do a. Don't worry. We got more.
Well, I think that's
a good thing. If you don't run out, that means nobody's buying it.
No, I just said that's crazy. That's crazy
right.
that you run out of it. Okay.
Yeah, so we're in the process of doing a rebottle right now. So we'll be back in it in another week or so. And then I think the most exciting thing is that in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we're going to have a release party. Back in 2020. What we called the godfather of the wine region, Northeast Ohio, a gentleman by the name of Arnie Esther, who owned Marco Vineyards in Conneaut. He planted the first vinifera grapes, Cabernets and Chardonnays, in Ohio in 1968. Oh, wow. And in 2020, he had congenital heart failure, and he was not able to take care of his vineyard. And Kim and I volunteered to take care of the vineyard that year, with the understanding with the family that what we would receive in payment would be the Cabernet Sauvignon from that season, from that vintage. Arnie passed away that year during harvest. Arnie was a prince. I mean, if you ever met the guy, he had his ways, but the guy was dedicated to the wine region, Northeast Ohio. We made the wine. We aged it in French oak, neutral French oak, for about 2.5 years. We bottled it, and the release party, like I said, is coming up. We're going to do about 3 release parties between now and August, and we added to that a piece of artwork from a gentleman by the name of Paul Tickinen. He was an artist his whole life in Ashtabula County. He also passed away in 2020, and we made a bottle that commemorates both of their lives and their commitment to our community with their talents, art and wine. So those are the special things we're doing this year at Lorello Vineyards.
So Larry, it's a roundabout. Have you driven on the roundabout? So I know that was the big deal. He made it a roundabout going to the winery. Have you actually driven on the roundabout today?
Jennifer did. I did not. Okay. I'll probably run on it tomorrow. I love roundabouts, but the problem with roundabouts is most of us in Ohio don't know how to navigate them. So
No,
it's
they kind of race through them. That's what I've noticed. They kind of
yeah, it's kind of they but the good news about it is that that intersection has always been a pass through intersection with no lights, no stop signs except our side. So now all of a sudden everybody coming off the highway have to go through a roundabout, gives them another extra couple seconds to decide which winery they're going to, and hopefully they choose us.
So let me ask you this, because you took me out there where that roundabout is. Are you able to, is ODOT, or are you privately able to put signs that point, say, Lorello Vineyards this way? Are you able to put that near the roundabout? I'm just curious.
That is a darn good idea. Whether it's a good, I don't know the answer. The answer would be yes, but we'd have to go through ODOT to get it approved. But I think that's a great idea. We should actually put that all the way around so that as you're going around the intersection, there's actually arrows for every winery. That's a great idea.
Correct.
Dustin, you're the man. You're the man.
I'm just saying, if there's an arrow that tells me where it's at and where I'm going, I'll typically get there and not have a problem. So,
Right.
Because now, I've come up with a new term, by the way, Larry. Everybody has a nickname. Obviously, I do a podcast, but I want both of your guys' opinion on this. So, and people that are watching can comment in the comments. So everybody knows that I have been a Browns fan since the 3rd grade, and my friend brainwashed me. He moved from Lorain, Ohio to Boise, Idaho. And I've lived most of my adult life in Boise, Idaho up till the last 6 months. I've been in Cleveland, and I feel like I've been here for 5 years. I've done so much in such a little time. It's crazy. But I think the true term that I think I can embrace and would make sense, I'm Cleveland's adopted son. It just makes sense because I'm not from here, but I've adopted the city as my new home. Just curious what you guys think. Cleveland's adopted son. What do you think?
Give him hell, Ray. Does that mean we could throw you back?
No, here's the thing. I didn't hear what he said. Does
that mean we can throw you back?
Absolutely. No, I think it almost has to be something organically that happens as opposed to
right. No. I'm just saying, for my person, when people ask me, I say I'm Cleveland's adopted son because I'm not from here. I'd say that's what I say to people. So I'm just curious if that makes sense. So.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, it works.
Yeah.
Larry, what do you think, Larry?
Well, I mean, you're not only adopted son, but you're also, in the short time I've met you, you're bigger than life in a lot of ways. And I'm not trying to puff smoke up your what, but you have a way of being able to connecting people together that I've never really seen that, especially a guy coming from out of town and coming to Cleveland. But yeah, you got to be the adopted son because you live here now and you never did before.
Right.
I just think he's a little old to be adopted, but that's what I was thinking. When he said it, I was like, man, ain't nobody adopting your old behind.
Oh,
how about this one?
It's all love.
How about this one, Ray? He's been a Browns fan his whole life, so he was an adopted son, but he was lost for many, many years, and we finally found him and brought him here.
Yeah.
Right.
I was like that orphan left on the front porch, and finally somebody picked me up and brought me here.
Yeah, you were born here at some point in time, and we took you back out in a little basket and dropped you off in Boise, Idaho.
Hey, Larry, and they returned him.
Yeah,
and then they returned. Well, he came on his own. He's like
that's what he's telling everybody. But you
know what you are. You're a lost dog that found your way home. That's what you are.
You know what they say. You know what they say? I'm a dog. You can't teach that. So.
Yeah. You got in a car. Somebody put you in a car, drove you out to Boise, dropped you off. Took 40 years for you to figure out where the heck you were at. And you walked all the way home and you made it back. I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I will tell you this.
That's a great human interest story.
Well, let me just tell you this. So you guys may not know this story, but my friend Scotty will tell you this, and he thought I was bat you blink crazy. Like he thought I was crazy. So my first encounter, my first Browns game, home game for the Browns, Larry, and this is before I knew you. Uh, I came out at 19 years old. Full true story. At 19 years old, we flew to Salt Lake City, Utah, rented a car, and drove all the way to Cleveland. Okay, three guys in a car, like like a road trip, like two, all dudes do like when they're young. So we did a road trip all the way to Cleveland. So it became Saturday night. We're rolling into Cleveland, right? We had been through Chicago. We did the whole thing. You know what I said to my friend? And he thought I was crazy because I was such a Browns. I was all in. What does that say? I can't. What's that say?
Dustin, the lost dog. Go ahead.
Oh, Dustin, the lost dog.
The lost dog.
I like. Okay, I like that.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. So we're driving into Cleveland, and of course, I have the nostalgia of the old stadium was so much as a kid. The Beatles played there, Babe Ruth played there, Jim Brown ran there.
I was there for that, by the way.
What's that?
I was there for the Beatles concert.
Oh, very cool. So, but there's so much history in that building that I wanted to see it, right?
Yeah.
And I made my friend, I remember his relatives live in Lorraine, which is west of Cleveland. And that's where we're staying Saturday night, and we're going in Sunday to watch the game. And I said, drive me to the stadium. He goes, what are you talking about? I go, drive me to the stadium right now. I've come over 2,000 miles. I want to see it right now. He goes, we're going to be there tomorrow. He goes, why do you want to go? And you know what I told him? You never know what tomorrow promises you. I just want to touch the stadium. That's literally what I told him. That is
cool. Very cool.
I said, I just want to touch the stadium, literally.
Next time you get on the Browns bus, you got to grab onto this. This is part of the stadium right here.
That's one of the old bricks. Yeah.
One of the bricks from the old stadium. Yeah.
But I mean, he thought I was crazy at the time, but then he's like, I understand your passion. I get it.
Very cool. But I thought, Dustin, you were going to say that you were going to mark your territory.
Well, I kind of did. I touched it. So let's get, we weren't able to do this last weekend, right? We would normally be there, but let's give a great shout out to our friends over at the Hartville Marketplace. As you know, Ward was down there. Who was the other guy that was down there this weekend, Ray?
Marcus, the defensive lineman.
Yeah,
I can't think. His name escaped me.
Yeah, but by the way, guys, more big signings, and it's like they planned it on purpose. But July 13th, JOK, David Njoku, and who's the other guy that's going to be there? On July 13th, it's David Njoku, JOK, and there's another. But three Browns guys are going to be there July 13th, my birthday, right? They just said, hey, we're going to have it on your birthday. So I'm going to go down there early, enjoy it. But if you guys haven't been to Hartville, it is a great place to hang out. They have the huge outside market, flea market outside, Ray. As you know, hundreds of vendors go to this flea market. Anything you can imagine could be at a flea market is definitely at this. And by the way, if you're bringing the family down there, go check out the world's largest independently owned lumber and hardware store in America. It's huge. Ray, they have houses inside of that. They have full-size houses inside that hardware store for you to figure out what your house would look like. So the picture like a 2,000 square foot house inside an actual building. It's crazy. And by the way, if you want to wander and you want some great home cooking, you got to go over to the Hartville Kitchen. They have all those great, amazing meals over there. So make a weekend of it. Go down and check out the Hartville Market. Larry, have you been down to Hartville? You've been down to Hartville, right? I'm sure you've wandered down those parts.
No, can you hear me still? Because you're breaking up. Can you hear me good?
I say you're breaking up just a little bit on your end.
Do you want me to bump off and then bring you back on?
Yeah, why don't you? We'll kick you off and then we'll bring you back in. You got a little static going there.
Yeah. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, we'll just kick you and then. All right. Yeah. So anyway, sometimes a little bit of technical difficulties. But yeah, that was a lot. Go ahead, Ray.
I was just gonna say, speaking of the Hartville and the shows that Prime Time does down there, yeah, and in the event that you can't make it, they do mail-ins as well too.
That's true. You can do drop-offs
Right.
or mail-ins, right?
Yeah, because I had a great car show. No, we were down in Dayton, so yeah, I had to drop off a really nice Denzel piece, and they took care of me. So yeah, if you need to drop off or mail it in, they do both.
Hey, by the way, guys, if you haven't been over to Teresa's Pizza in Mayfield Heights or University Heights, guys, been around in Cleveland since 1969. That's Teresa's Pizza. That's right, Teresa's Pizza in Hartville. It's going to be a great thing going on over there. They got lunch specials, catering, anything you can imagine. If you haven't been, you got to go check it out. But that's Teresa's Pizza in University Heights and Mayfield Heights. And catering is one of their bigger things they're pushing this year. But man, Ray, if you haven't been around, if you're any type of company or you're any type of family recipe and you've been making pizza since 1969, you're doing it right. What I like about them, Ray, is they do all the toppings underneath, which is kind of unique. So you have the cheese all on top and then the pepperoni and all the flavors underneath. I kind of like my pizza that way. It's kind of more of a less messy way to eat pizza. But yeah, Teresa's Pizza over there in University Heights and Mayfield Heights, great place to check out. But you know what's even better than that? And sometimes as good as that? Guess what is amazing? We're excited to mention our new sponsor, City Barbecue. That's right, City Barbecue with 7 locations in Northeast Ohio. I got to recently visit their Strongsville location. Man, if you love barbecue, you've got to check out City Barbecue, guys. They have some of the best barbecue, in my opinion, the best barbecue that I've had in Northeast Ohio. But by the way, check them out. They have all their dinner plates, party planners, catering. Man, if you got a business and you want to cater something, get over to City Barbecue. 7 locations in Northeast Ohio. They are our exclusive, and let me say that again, our exclusive barbecue sponsor for the Here We Go Brownies. And we're really excited. We're going to do some giveaways of food with them, but a lot of fun stuff to be coming up from there. But hey, looks like our friend Larry reconnected with us. Let's try him again. Larry, you with us?
Yeah. I'm good now.
He's out of the bus. All right, he's out of the bus. Now he's in the garage. I love this.
He's out of the bus.
Yeah, my partner in crime that was in the bus said that I had the phone connected to a can that was steel or metal, and that was messing up my reception. Apparently, I don't know.
We were just talking. Our new sponsor, City Barbecue. Larry, have you tried City Barbecue? Have you ever been to one of their locations?
I have. I think we're going to end up going there this weekend. We talked about it, my wife and I. So yeah, we're gonna
City Barbecue. Which on the east side over there somewhere? Are you going to it?
Yeah, whichever one you tell me to go to.
All right. Well, that sounds good. So yeah, let's get into this. We didn't talk. We talked a little baseball, but hey, you know what? One thing we do like about our players in Cleveland is loyalty. Donovan Mitchell signing a 3-year, $150 million deal. Means he got a player option on the last year, but this means more than likely for the next 3 years, we're going to see Donovan Mitchell at the reins as a Cavalier. My first take, and then I'll spin it off to you guys. This kind of tells me that we're going to be watching playoff basketball in Cleveland for the next 3 years. I know the Cavaliers will make some minor adjustments here or there, maybe go look for a player. But it all starts and ends with Donovan Mitchell, clearly not in a rebuild mode. But this tells me that, with the new head coach that's going to be in there, he's going to – by the way, the new head coach, you're going to love this, Larry, because I know you're a very hands-on kind of manager. But I got to tell you, when I hear a manager say, hey, I took this job, and when I took this job, I sat down with Donovan Mitchell before he even signed his deal, and we have a 2-hour lunch, and we're moving salt and pepper shakers around, talking about defenses and posts and all of these things, and we're literally what we thought was going to be an hour lunch turns into over 2 hours. That's a good coach, that you're that involved with your star player on your team, and that you're that intricate already talking about plays like, like a very hands-on, like, hey, if you're here, I just thought that was cool, like from a metaphoric, like he was literally talking like that. But I think this is a good move for the Cavs. I think this is a good move for Donovan Mitchell, and I think it's a good move for the organization. But I'll start with you, Larry.
Yeah, I had my grandkids when Donovan broke Cavs record. I don't know, 71, 72 points that night, and as you said, good for the team, good for the city, good for Donovan. I think that last year, at the end of the year, he was trying to do everything in the final games of those playoffs, and it was obvious that the Cavs have to put some more stuff around him. I think they didn't get enough good play out of some of the long shooters, and but if if the Cavaliers, I be honest with you, I think the Cavs not only was a good move for them, but I think it was the only really that they needed to make that move in order to be able to keep the things moving forward. I was a little surprised that we got rid of our coach. But I don't know enough about basketball to know why. I was fortunate enough. I think it was about 2 weeks ago. I saw the coach on a flight. He was taking his daughter or son or something. They were all going to a soccer tournament. It's somewhere I think in Boston. It was before I was heading for Italy, and said hello to him. Told him thank you for the memories. Said you did a hell of a job, and he thanked me. I asked him if he would come out to the Browns bus and sign the bus. I'd be honored if he would. He said he would. So we'll see. We'll look for him this year and see if we can get an autograph out of him.
That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, Larry, before we finish up the show here in a few minutes, I'm going to, you're a biggest fan as I am, but let's give a big shout out to our friend. What's that?
Not as big as Ray.
No. A fan of what I'm about to talk about.
Oh, okay.
I would just like to give a big shout out to our good friends over at Stadium Mustard, who supplied all the mustard at our event down in Xenia this weekend. Everybody left with a bottle of mustard that came to the golf outing, and a big shout out to them for supplying everybody with a bottle of mustard to take home and enjoy. But a big shout out to Stadium Mustard for being such a great host of the sponsorship of the golf tournament down there in Xenia. But Larry, I think one thing that is hilarious that I love you for and your kids cringe at is when you say there's nothing better than grabbing a napkin and loading it up with Stadium Mustard and just eating it right off the.
Do it every game, baby. Do it every game. Way to go, Bill. Way to go, Bill. Yeah, I'm telling you, come on, Stadium Mustard. It's not just a staple. I mean, I go to. Yesterday, I was in Toronto, and I went to the Blue Jays game. Okay, they don't have mustard for crap. I mean, come on, it's yellow mustard. By the way, that's Steeler colors. But and I've tried to tell Bill we got to put some orange in there. He didn't like that idea. But Stadium Mustard is people come from out of town just to try that mustard at a game, football game. It's the best. It's the best.
Well, like you said, it's been a part of Browns games for decades, dating back for, I would say, I think it's at least 60 years at this point that it's been at the game. But the look, if I can somehow, when this show is over, if I can screenshot the look at about 52 to 53 minutes in the show from Ray's look on his face when I said that Larry takes a napkin.
Well, hey, listen, a little bit of trivia for all you folks that are getting up to my age, okay? I learned this from this old trick from a good friend of mine that always had cramps problems with his legs. Mustard, the vinegar and mustard, if you take some of that stuff when you got cramps and you go ahead and eat a spoonful of mustard, it knocks the cramps right out. And as long as you got to do that anyway, you might as well do it with a good mustard. So that's Stadium Mustard.
All right. Well, there you go. So we don't, David and Allie aren't with us tonight. So there's your medical moment.
That's your medical moment right there.
So a spoonful of Stadium Mustard. Hey, you know what? Maybe the Browns players, it's already in the stadium. They could just have the pump, on the side.
Right on the sidelines, baby. Right on the sidelines.
Hey, Well, but here's the truth. You're onto something. I'll tell you. At Boise State, we had a running back that was amazing. He ended up going to the pros, and you know what he would do? You know what he would do, Larry?
What?
When he would cramp up on the sidelines, he literally would go over, and it made national news. But he would start drinking a jar of pickle juice, and
Yeah,
he would
same
start.
thing.
Yeah, so he would
Same
sit
thing.
there and start drinking pickle juice. People were like, "What are you doing?" And they said, "It relieves the cramps immediately because the vinegar is going into your
Right.
body." And so you're right. Why wouldn't mustard do the same thing? Because it has vinegar in it. So
You know
there
what
you
this
go.
is? You know,
Who
hey,
would've-
Dustin, you know what this is?
A natural Browns fan.
No, that's Myles Garrett.
Hey now. Easy. See, what did I say? Right? He was worried the show was tame, and then he just keeps bringing it up a notch.
Sorry about that, Ray.
Oh, you're good. Good.
So, Larry, quick question. We ran out of stadium mustard, or we ran out of, here we go, Brownie's wine. I know we talked about we got to make a new label at some point, right? That's once the new labels run out, we got to do a new label, right?
Yeah, well, we haven't run out of labels yet. We just ran out of wine. So we got to go
Right.
a little longer on that. But
Right.
yeah,
But
we
you know
definitely
what? You know what would be really good?
well,
Just to throw it out there, if anybody ever sees this show, but maybe a Kelsey wine, the Kelsey brothers. How would that be?
ooh, dude. I've been thinking
about
I got some big plans for Kelsey. I gotta find a way to get a hold of him. I got some good
Yeah.
plans for him.
So if anybody watches this show and knows the Kelsey brothers, Travis or Jason, little collaborative of the homeboys to do some wine for the hometown boys.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, Jason's retired, right? He's got a little time on. I mean, I know he's got babies and kids, but he's retired now. Maybe he can come out to the winery and Jason can come try some of the wine now that he's retired. So
Don't get me too excited. Oh, that's great. That'd be fantastic.
So again, guys, anybody that's been watching the show tonight, next Wednesday, guys, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., Larry and I are very excited to host the first annual Golf In Live Here We Go Brownie show. Allie will be back next week, so obviously she'll be joining the podcast next week. But we'll do it live from one of the bays in there. So the show will be in one of the bays. No, Larry, you can't swing golf balls at me during the show live. That is not allowed.
What? We're playing golf, brother. You do your talking. We're playing golf.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll have 3 other bays, guys, that you can actually play for 2 hours of best ball closest to the pin, all those wonderful things that we can do at that. But I think it'll be a lot of fun, Larry.
I think you can. I think they probably have a simulator in there, so you can actually play Pebble Beach. So
yes, you can pick a course. Yes, they
Yeah.
have it to where you can pick a course and stuff like that. We know Ray should show up because he's got to work on his golf game. And Ray, newsflash, you don't have to bring golf clubs. They actually have them there. Because, like I said, the great folks over at 5 Iron Golf allowed me to have golf clubs to take down to the Xenia Browns backers. So, Ray, you can show up empty-handed. Just show up with your cool Corvette, roll in like you own Cleveland, and come golf for a couple hours and join Larry and I. And, I will tell you this. Larry can probably give you a few pointers. Larry's very good at golf. So, anytime Larry gives –
I'm not that good. Don't build this up too much.
Okay, Larry, we're horrible. Okay,
yeah.
horrible.
Well, okay. I mean, if we're talking relatively speaking, okay, I am pretty good, but
Right.
But,
Whatever you teach us is better than what we are. Just full disclosure.
All right.
Am I wrong, Ray?
Don't quit your day
Yeah.
job, Dustin.
Yeah.
Don't quit your day
Don't
job.
put me in the category with you, Dustin, because I'm like on Larry's level when it comes to you. So yeah.
That must be, hey, Dustin, you must really suck.
He does.
Okay, so here's the crazy
I mean,
thing.
I'm not. Wait, Larry. I'm not saying that I'm that good. It's just this past weekend I did have a bad game. Now last year or year before last, Come on, Dustin. Come on,
You were
Dustin.
decent. You were decent for never golfing. You were decent for never golfing.
Thanks.
Now, Larry, you'll appreciate this. I got to play with some really good guys. I got paired up with some really guys that were just hitting at 300 yards. I mean, they were good. Like, they were knocking it off the tee. But I will tell you this, the one thing the guy told me, like, he was giving me help along the way as I was golfing. He goes, at least you're teachable. And I was like learning. So my thing is I slice it. And you've probably been with guys that slice it. And he goes, man, I just want to work with your body. And he goes, by the way, I don't care if you hit it 100, because then I hit it like 180. He goes, I just want you to be straight on the course. Keep it on the course. And so, and then he's like, you're pretty good at putting. You know what I mean? So he was like, he goes, you work on these two things, you'll be a scratch decent golfer. Like, you're teachable. So he at least,
you know, Dustin, the thing about golf is it's counterintuitive to the fact that your mind thinks you have to swing hard to hit it a long way, when the exact opposite is true. And it's very difficult to get out of that. But 90% of the time, the slice is only because you're swinging too fast.
right.
That's all, not because you're swinging through it, and you're not able to close the club face down because you're everything's moving so quickly that you're already past the ball by the time the ball goes by. You know, so it's not hard to fix. It's just it takes a lot of practice. Start out slow. Only try and hit the ball 100 yards before you try and hit it 200.
Correct. Just keep it in. Yeah. I'd like to give a shout out to Craig Foster, a friend of the program. He was actually down in, he lives down in those parts, and he was in Xenia. And he bought a Here We Go Brownies hat. So, guys, if you haven't gotten any of our merch, our hats, our shirts, our hoodies, or beanies, go to 21fits. That's 21fits, just spelled all out, 21fits.com. And enjoy, and that helps build the program. Oh, look at that. Okay, Lori went from inside the bus to outside the bus to now outside the physical bus. There it is. I think Larry is ready to go. What do you think?
Hey, Dustin, one thing you were saying, what am I doing to the bus this year? Now, So listen, there's two things. One is I had a patio made for the rooftop that we'll probably put on there like 1 or 2 games a year, just so you can go up there and, you know, it's not going to be for the whole public because I don't want people diving off the side.
But it's permanent though. It goes on there up there permanently though, right?
Well, no, I'm going to make it so it can be taken off all the time. But what I'm doing, this is the most important thing. I'm going ahead and repainting the face mask to white because the Browns have changed their helmets.
That's important.
So this year the face mask will be white as opposed to brown.
Okay.
So that's the biggest change this year.
Well, yeah, you gotta have the helmet to match the team, right? Of course.
Right. Exactly.
And by the way, guys, we're going to be doing a really fun event August 18th. I think Larry's going to be able to do it. I will say this: my baseball skills are better than my golf skills. I'll be throwing out the first pitch on August 18th. It is the 60th anniversary, Larry, if you can believe it or not. This year is the 60th anniversary of the Cleveland Browns winning a championship. We're going to be out at the Lake City Captains out in East Lake celebrating that. Ray's going to be out there with his car and some really great memorabilia from the 64 team. I think we're going to have Hanford Dixon, Frank Minifield out there, and some more really surprising things that we can't talk about, but we'll break probably within the next week on this show that involve Frank Minifield and Hanford Dixon. There's your hint. But it's going to be big. It's going to be great because that's what we do. Right, Larry? We go big or go home. So that'll be announced in about a week from now.
I can't wait to get the slow motion video of you throwing that first pitch. That's going to be hilarious.
You know what? Hey, it can't be any worse than destroying my shoulder and having your grandson beat me in a 40-yard dash. I think that'll be just fine. I think we'll do just fine.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, we've come to an hour. Larry, thanks for jumping on, and always it's a pleasure.
Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, we'll have it. Ray, always a privilege. Mr. Brown himself has everything known to man.
Hi, John. How you doing?
Hey, look at that. Got a super fan in the bus. Love it. But guys, stay safe, stay healthy, and as Ali and I always say, go Browns.
Go Browns.